Natty! Hi, I'm Steve. This is Ess-Fo, the music reviews channel that is more Steinberger than Steinway, right? Is there anything in the manufacture of pianos that can compete with the phrase double ball? The mind goes anywhere with that phrase. Go ahead, close your eyes. Double ball. Double ball strings were developed for Steinberger guitars because the Steinberger has no headstock, and therefore another anchor was needed. It's nothing to do with some sort of sexual reference, or like a friend's dog when I was growing up we nicknamed Norman One Nut because one of his testicles had not dropped yet. Ess-Fo is like a Steinberger because it is the headless chicken of music review programs. It is my hope that Ess-Fo will somewhat revolutionize the way we conceive and appreciate music, but it'll probably just end up in some corner of, it's going to end up in a corner of YouTube. It's already on YouTube. I don't know what the fate is of this yet. However, the Steinberger is still being made, so the hope is that in 40 years, I'll still be here, and I'll look exactly like Alfred Hitchcock. This episode, She Knows Who You Are, so it's time that you know who Queen Kwong is. We'll have a little death metal flourish with Aeviterne. There will be some acting with Bloo. But first, there's been a change in cabin pressure. They're lowering the masks for Oxygen by Emeli Sandé. Please make sure to secure your own mask before helping others with theirs. Christian-themed pop music is a concept with which I struggle. Having been raised Catholic, it's not religious music per se that I have a problem with. Some of my favorite all-time songs are devotionals. On Eagle's Wings, Silent Night, Dolly Parton singing How Great Thou Art. But on a whole, as an industry, Christian pop is very cynical. Of course, my opinion may stem from the fact that for the first 20 years of rock and roll's existence, Christian conservatives slammed it as the devil's music. I also grew up listening to heavy metal in the 1980s at a time when there was huge political pressure from censors on heavy metal. Two Live Crew may have been thrown in jail for rapping about pussy, but Judas Priest actually went on trial for manslaughter because two of their fans attempted suicide listening to their music, and one of them succeeded. Obviously, not all Christians are responsible for Dee Snider having to testify in front of a congressional panel. But then to emerge with a knock-off version of rock and pop leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Jesus is credited with a lot of phrases, but he never uttered, "If you can't beat 'em, join 'em." It's like a bait and switch. Let's play a song about parts. Yeah, praising his name. Oh, God, they got me again. The Educational Media Foundation, and that's what I'm talking about, that name. It's a Christian company, but it's got this sort of innocuous, oh no, we're not, we're just educational. That's kind of what I'm talking about here. They program the nationwide K-Love Christian music radio stations. They brought things to a head in Chicago in 2018 when they purchased the frequency for 97.9 FM, which had been, for 40 years, where have we heard that number before? It had been WLUP-FM, The Loop, a classic rock station that was kind of iconic around here for its logo and its t-shirts. Now, was this some sort of Moses smashing a sacred cow, or just a misguided attempt to link REO Speedwagon fans with Switchfoot? All of this is to say that despite my reservations, I loved Emeli Sandé's 2012 hit, Next to Me. As I mentioned in a previous episode, I'm not the quickest to grasp lyrical nuances, and I've eventually understood the song to be about God and not a lover. Next to Me has racked up 152 million listens on Spotify, and the video has 88 million views on YouTube. It's a rousing anthem, Adele-like in its presentation, and it's somewhat appropriate because Sandé's actual given first name is Adele. There's an element of Next to Me in the vast majority of Sandé's subsequent works centered around her golden pipes. If you've got, build to your strengths sort of thing. So Why am I discussing a mega hit on a channel that's supposed to be about avoiding such things? Well, because if everything I've described to you about Next to Me disinterests you, you might like Oxygen. Sandé's own fans seem to support this theory. Oxygen, as a single, was released 2 months before the album Let's Say, for instance, on Chrysalis Records. The single There Isn't Much was released a month after Oxygen and has already proven to be more popular. The difference? Most of her biggest hits leave room for vocal confrontation. Times when her voice blinds you like the first ray of sun to sneak past an eclipse, or Ed Sheeran. Oxygen is a departure, therefore, because her voice transforms into something apart from sheer energy. Check it out.
Now, baby, please let me wash my sins deep in your stream. Feels as if you're teaching me to breathe.
Tied to lyrics about sharing secrets under sheets, Sandé needs to portray arousal, vulnerability, and literally keep her voice down. The chords undulate, and the pacing is too quick for a slow jam, but it implies a nervous heart, like she doesn't know if what she's saying will be accepted by this person she's sharing a bed with. It's nervous anticipation, like, oh my God, is this happening? And you can't say that on K-Love. It's not quite the stylistic departure of Johnny Cash singing, "Everybody loves a nut, the whole world loves a weirdo." And it might not see Sandé secularizing herself the way Scott Stapp did, but for being about what comes natural, it sounds natural. Links are below. A couple of episodes ago, I argued that Ifeanyi Ellsworth turned her cover of Summer Walker's "You Don't Know Me" into "You Don't Know What I'm Capable Of." Don't end a sentence in a preposition. Well, Queen Kwong goes a step farther with a song that is, well, Michael Myers staring through your windows. Take a listen. Queen Kwong is the name of a music project for Carré Kwong Calloway, who, along with sharing a surname with my favorite character in Rushmore, also has cystic fibrosis, and as a teenager was discovered, I think, in a recording studio by Trent Reznor, and was subsequently hired to open for Nine Inch Nails in 2005, a feat she repeated again in 2018. Her music career has been stop-start, interrupted by her diagnosis and a failed marriage to someone I overlooked in my review of Richmond Reva, Virginia musical offspring, something we'll describe as a happy accident, because this person's cultural contributions are not. So, if you get the chills listening to I Know Who You Are, imagine knowing that it was written about you. It slowly fades in with what sounds like guitar strings, not double-balled, being played behind the nut. Then a C note on the bass slides up to an E with kind of a sadistic repetition. It's kind of a very gritty tone and burn, almost very industrial in nature. The melody is played on a distorted 12-string, which has bailed on its sexy James Bond reputation and gives the song a sort of martial arts film chime, while the beat recalls Big Black. Calloway's voice is double-tracked, but the two takes aren't identical, so it gives this stereo impression that you're listening to something that's possessed. She reads a list of grievances with a detachment that itself is threatening. There's even a little bit of a Timbaland influence. My initial impression, possibly influenced by having watched Suicide Squad around the same time, was of Harley Quinn zeroing on her nemesis and repeatedly picking them up and throwing them through drywall, windows, glass crunching underneath her heels, and coming to the point where you think she might be about to kill this person. She's not allowed to do that, is she? Links are below. Kwong's new album, Couples Only, comes out July 12th via Sonic Ritual Records. There aren't any tour dates scheduled yet, but watch this space. When I plan these episodes and there's a metal band involved, I always have to caution myself against launching into a defense of the genre because that's kind of just insulting to everyone. If you weren't interested in different kinds of music, you probably wouldn't be here in the first place. But what drew me to this song precisely was, for large periods, Denature sounds like Aeviterne can't differentiate between a guitar and a drum. The electric guitar as a percussive device goes back at least to Bo Diddley. But for the first minutes of Denature, you wonder if Aeviterne knew it had any other uses. A significant portion of the track recalls the third riff from Slayer's Raining Blood, only played in triple time. The ensuing whir is a terrifying barrage and comes to feel like noise for noise's sake, until the band shockingly come around at about the 240 mark and they just emerge in unison. Check it out. And it's points like that I want to sing from the rooftops. The sense of timing, of rhythm, of just knowing where they are in the midst of such a crazy song, it refutes any notion that these are not top-level musicians. It makes a BTS dance routine look like the Alpha Betas. I was backing my father-in-law on a country song last week, him guitar, me bass, and the telepathic signals I was mind-bulleting him to get him to slow down almost gave me nosebleed. The orchestration of Denature is otherworldly in context. It reminded me of a Miles Davis live performance document from a couple years ago, the Cellar Door Sessions, which was recorded in 1970 in Davis's fusion phase, right around the time of Bitches Brew. And it's a 6 or 7 disc package, each disc being one set from a night of performances at the Cellar Door Club in Washington, D.C. By the last night of the set, it's bedlam. In my mind's eye, I see Keith Jarrett lighting his keyboard on fire and Jack DeJohnette drumming with power tools like it's an Art of Noise video. But when they pull out of the chaos in relative unison, it's stunning. You know when you see something so spectacular that you start laughing? Denature is like watching an Indy car spin out of control and wind up perfectly parked between two Rolls Royces. But it's also a testament to teamwork, and it will melt your face. Links are below. Profound Lore Records released their album The Ailing Facade earlier in the spring. No tour dates thus far, but you can check their web pages for that. During the Johnny Depp Amber Heard civil trial, Depp's publicity team was sending out alerts that his rock band, Hollywood Vampires, was playing shows around Los Angeles. Who gives up? First of all, the name Hollywood Vampires is already taken. It's the name of the final LA Guns album that anyone should care about. I'm about as interested in Heard and Depp as I am in the new LA Guns album. And if I'm being totally honest, I give actors short shrift when it comes to releasing music. Wow, I just said short shrift. How is that even in my vocabulary? Patrick Swayze, Bruce Willis, and Eddie Murphy absolutely wrecked it for their profession. It's understandable that actors are well-rounded entertainers and might have some musical chops, but run along. Zooey Deschanel, enough. Please. Naturally, this is a standard I'm applying to known celebrities. Even so, I don't know if Uma Blue's Molly Madden considers herself an actress. She reportedly studied acting and went on some auditions, but she's also worked in burlesque, and that's an avenue to music as seen by Dita Von Teese. Grace Slick, the Jefferson Airplane singer who Madden recalls on Strange Actress, worked in modeling before joining a band. And the modeling skills came in handy too when she later drove Starship to the peaks on the back of Mannequin. The lipstick thespian angle has a second layer in the song Strange Actress itself, which portrays an imbalanced relationship as a sort of one person is a director and the narrator in the song is an actress. The actress in the song has very low esteem about her role in the relationship and nearly equates herself to a sex worker. She sings, "You know I come when you call, isn't that despicable?" And she really draws out the word despicable with disgust. Actors during antiquity, by the way, had the same social status as prostitutes. The highlight of Strange Actress is the interplay between Madden and her band, who, due to their refusal to be photographed, must be century-old Native American mystics. Strange Actress has strong sonic ties to White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. Madden is audible but mixed almost on the same level, if not below the guitars, so that when the band kicks in and she's still kind of doing the verses in a conversational tone, the lyrics become indecipherable, like she's almost washed out. But it adds to the charm, however, the thrill kind of watching a band from the side of the stage. You know, nothing in a concert hall is ever mixed right. This kind of has that rehearsal space, intimate performance sort of sound to it. As mentioned, White Rabbit is clearly a reference, but there's also a band from Uma Blue's native Chicago who they also recall, and that is Low Skies, who recorded for Flame Shovel Records back in the aughts. I always liked the name Flame Shovel. It was inspired by the Pixies song Dig for Fire, and to dig for fire you need a flame shovel. Anyway, so if you have a chance to check out those guys as well, put a link below. Uma Blue's debut album called Don't Drive Into the Smoke was released earlier this year on Earth Libraries Records. Links are below. Time to double ball it out of here. Click like, click subscribe. Head over to my Instagram page for more up-to-date reviews. We are halfway through the year. I have reviewed 104 great new songs on Instagram so far, 38 of which I think have been covered in these videos. You can catch playlists for all of those songs here on YouTube, or you can head over to my Spotify account where I have the Best of 2022 playlist. That is up to 266 songs, and it actually includes some artists you may have heard of, like the Radiohead side project The Smile, Raul Alejandro, Frank Turner, Snail Mail, Meshuggah, Arlo Parks, and unbelievably to me, the Yellow Wolf Shooter Jennings side project. As much as I wanted to, I did not give that short shrift. So anyway, you can the links for the Spotify playlist are as ever below. You can go over there and like and subscribe if you want to. Knock yourself out. Happy 4th. Ciao.